Welcome to Entrepreneurs Conquering the World, how to build a global audience and profit from it. With your host, Carmen Ring.
Hello everyone, welcome to a new episode of Entrepreneurs Conquering the World. My name is Carmen Ring, and today I have with me Chris Ternate. Chris is the founder of WebGeek Studios, an international company meant to manage the whole online part of your business, and that goes from website creation to social media to customer management, anything you need to be done. She is the founder of this company, and she's an expert in creating web funnels to simplify and automate sales and marketing, as well as to increase conversions on your website. Chris, welcome to our show, and I'm going to let you tell us more about you and how you started WebGeek Studios.
Thank you so much, Carmen. I appreciate you having me in your show. And hello there, entrepreneurs. So a little bit about myself. My name is Chris, and I came to the United States when I was 18. Imagine that. My mom shipped me off from the Philippines when I was 18 years old with the hopes that I could have a better life here. And the funny thing about this experience is, a lot of times when we grow up, we don't really know what to do. So a lot of times our parents instill upon us what they want us to do, right? So that kind of dream. So I was enrolled to the nursing school because my mom said that nursing is a great career. I get to take care of people. It's good pay. It's a secure job, and at the same time, I get to take care of her when she goes older. So that's how I got into nursing. But the funny experience was, I had one last semester left before I graduate, and I was working as an intern in a hospital. And during that time, I had a favorite patient. Her name was Alice, and I really got to experience what it was like to grow old. What is at the end of the road, right? People taking care of you. You can't really go to the bathroom yourself. And it gave me an ache in my heart. It's very painful to see that kind of life after everything else, after experiencing life, and next thing you know, you're dying. So I got thinking to myself, like, you know what? If this is the career that I don't want, I don't want to experience being in an industry where it's not my passion. So I finally found, there was this one day when I saw Alice, her life transition from her body, and I found myself right next to her bed, holding her hands, and I watched her just die pretty much. And at that moment, I decided, you know what, nursing's not for me. I want to impact lives of people who are living, not dying. And not that I'm saying nursing is bad. Nursing is good. It's something that if you're passionate about taking care of people, then go for it, but it's not for me. So I quit nursing. I switched to psychology because I was really questioning if I'm a happy, how do I have a happy life? I started questioning that, and next thing you know, I switched to psychology, and I found myself thinking, okay, I have so much student loans from my nursing career. I graduated psychology. Next thing you know, I get paid $12 an hour to be a behavioral analyst. And that wasn't a match, All the money that I'm getting is getting paid towards rent and food. I didn't have enough money to pay for gas to go back to school or to go to my job, which sucked. So I went to my first ever mentor. The name is google.com. And I typed in how to become a millionaire because at that time I really wanted to be a millionaire. I needed financial support. And the first thing that popped into Google was the link of Robert Allen's book, How to Become a Millionaire in Less Than a Day. I think I have that book behind me somewhere. So it was a real estate book on how to become a 1-minute millionaire. And I really thought I could be a 1-minute millionaire. But apparently I read the whole chapter and I did not become a millionaire in 1 minute because I had to learn how to buy real estate and all that stuff. So I was like, this is funny. So cut the long story short, I was a marketing person for a film company. and they needed websites. So they were selling films, they were creating films, and they needed websites for each film. And I raised my hand not knowing how to code or how to create websites or whatsoever. So I raised my hand. I said, you know what? Hi, I'm really young, but I could make your website. And they said, okay, you have 3 days to create our website. I was like, oh my God, 3 days. So I went to my second mentor, youtube.com, and typed in how to create websites. And I got the website done. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't good. It was good enough. Here's the part where entrepreneurs make a lot of mistakes. A lot of times people say, like, hey, I need things to be perfect before I launch something, but good is good enough. So once I gave that first website, next thing you know, the board of directors of that company asked me, hey, Chris, I have my company on the side. Can you make me websites? So that's how the business was built, based on YouTube and courage to just raise my hand and just do it.
And I think that's the main part of it, courage and the attitude you had, and the go for it attitude you had, because everybody has access to Google and YouTube. It's just not everybody uses it, and not everybody has the courage to use it. So I think the main point here was your attitude. And I'm sure with your determination, I'm sure that website was more than just decent. With a person like you would have done in 3 days, even from zero, more than just a decent job. Now, this story is very inspiring. Thank you for sharing it. And however, there's still a long way from the time when you built your first website by watching YouTube videos to the time where now Web Geek Studios has worked with clients that are featured on Fox News, CNN, Wall Street Journal. So now you've built your name to a very big level. So tell us a little bit what was in between, because I think a lot of people are at the stage when they can watch a YouTube video and start something, but they don't really trust that they can take this to such a huge international level.
Yes, that is true. And there's 3 things that made that happen. So the 3 things are, the internal part of entrepreneurship. So let's say internal part's right here. The skills part is right here. And the execution part is right here. A lot of times entrepreneur, when they say they wanted to have business, they focus on the skills part. How do I market my business? How do I put my business online? How do I talk to customers? How do I sell one to many? Right? That's a skill part. But a lot of times, that is important because there's 3 important parts, right? So skills is important, but a lot of times people don't really look at the personal part and the execution part. So the personal part is the emotions that you feel. What are your beliefs? If someone gave you a contract for $1 million and internally you think that, some person in your past, or maybe your parents, maybe your society said that money is the root of all evil. Have you heard that adage? Money is the root of all evil. Next thing you know, you get that $1 million and then you just give it away. Or a lot of times you go in debt. And some people are not comfortable with the term money or earning or buying and, selling stuff. And really focusing on that internal part. What are your beliefs around money? What are your beliefs around your worth? I am small. I'm about less than 5 feet tall. And when I got into business, I was Asian, I'm female, and I had a lot of this limiting beliefs, this little voice in my head that says, you're female, you can't really do that. You're not a white man, you can't really do that. You didn't know how to speak in English when you got to this country. You can't really do that. So taking care of that little voice and knowing your worth is really important, because once you know your worth, then you could ask for the prices based on your skill and you could execute. So a big part when I grew my business is the execution part too. I can't do everything by myself. There was a point when I was charging $300 per website, and it took me 6 months to create. And what that means is I was getting a nickel per hour of my time. And coming back to the self-worth part, I was like, hey, am I worth a nickel? I am not worth a nickel. So when I started increasing my prices from $300 to $1,200, this year, actually last year, our minimum program was $18,000. And then now we're increasing it again. So that's how we grew our business. And think about it. if you're going to be talking about people who are famous, people who are strong leaders of our industry, if you tell them that you're worth a nickel, or if your services is really cheap, there's this thing in their head that's going to ask them, is that a quality type of person? Because a lot of times when you talk to industry leader, they want quality, and that means premium prices for premium services. So that's how I grew my business. It's just tackling, having the courage to find my worth, to know who I am, to know what I'm really good at. Because there are a lot of things that I'm not good at. I'm not good at certain, for example, numbers. I don't like numbers. If you ask me to look at an Excel sheet when it comes to expenses and costs, I would go, whoa, that's great. So I have someone to do that for me. And also, going back to that execution and the internal part, it's really nice to have people to surround you and to encourage you. One of my mentors told me that, hey, Chris, I would love you to speak on stage to 100 entrepreneurs. I was like, who am I to do that? And he said, you know what? I believe in you more than you believe in yourself. So just go and do it. And I did it, and it drastically changed my business. So there's a lot of ways to, it's good for 3 days to just package it into like, this is what I did. There's so much to learn. There's so much to experience for you guys. But bottom line, it's just having that community, having that internal factor, that emotional IQ, what I call the rhino effect, when you don't care about what other people's opinion of you. Just do it because you believe in yourself, having that skill and constantly practicing it and executing it. Stop procrastinating, just do it, because bottom line, you're not going for version 1.0, you're going for version 5.0. So just keep making mistakes.
Chris, I'm so happy you're sharing everything with so much enthusiasm, and you're a role model for a lot of our audience. Thank you for all your energy and how you share your story. Now, you presented everything, how it goes, and you made it look as a pretty smooth process. Well, besides the challenges, the internal challenges that people can have, the mental challenges. In growing and running such a big business like you have, are there also some other challenges, maybe like logistics, like, I don't know, team or computer softwares or language, or what other challenges can somebody expect when they grow and run such a big international business?
So challenges, there's 2 challenges. Time and money is the forefront of everything. So money is the lifeblood of your business. You won't be in business if you don't have money. And back to the internal part, if you're not comfortable with money, things are not going to work out. And for me, money is pretty much serving. So let's say for we all have 24 hours in a day. How much time do you spend for money generating activities? So back to the skills part, a lot of entrepreneurs pursue, like, hey, how do I market my services? How do I sell? And they're stuck in the learning process. They consume and consume and consume information. Not that, not that it's bad to consume information, but consume and then create and balance that out. So every day, on a daily basis, think about money and think about time. What are you doing on a daily basis to generate income? Are you marketing your services? Are you talking one-on-one with your perfect target market? So logistics part on that end, a lot of times business entrepreneurs go to networking events, in hopes to find their client, right? And since in their mind they have this desperation that they needed money to pay their bills, they go to that networking event hoping to close a sale. But that's not the case, right? That's not the case. That's a big problem, because you're there to build relationships with people, and relationship equals potential money in the future. And when people look at you, if you go to a networking event thinking that you need to close a client, they will smell desperation in your end, and most likely they will run away from you. So,
I want to take this step by step because you mentioned
okay.
a lot of important things here. Starting the money, you started mentioning that you have money, and you did say that you raised a lot of capital, if I can call it raising capital, by increasing your price step by step,
Right.
starting from $300 websites to $18,000 website. Now, I also know that in developing your business, you invested over $150,000 in market research and studies and tests, market tests. Can you tell us, because this looks like a big number, especially for people that are just looking at starting a company, how did you come up with that money? Was it just through building your business step by step, or you got some financing or investments? How did that happen?
All right. So as I mentioned earlier, I put my time into money generating activities and actually generating money, right? So once you get that money, what do? A lot of times people say, okay, I got my money, let me pay my bills. And the next thing you know, money's gone. So they go out the network again and get the client, pay their bills, and then go out. It's kind of like an endless loop of frustration. So let's say you got $100. Always, for our end, always 30% of that $100 goes to our marketing. 20% goes to savings. And the 50%, that's based on, okay, the admin, the operation, and my salary, right? So if I only had $20 for gas, I will not touch the marketing budget. And it takes discipline. It takes a lot of discipline to do that. So what do? I put the marketing out there. That way I can attract clients to me and not run after them. And that's the main cycle that goes on. It's going to be hard at first. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be frustrating. But at the same time, you're creating a process for your business when it comes to money. That way, eventually you could set aside money for testing. Let's say, okay, is my message working? Is my sales presentation working? How can I test it? So, 5% of that goes to testing. 5% goes to hiring mentors to test for you or hiring a team. So, is that clear so far?
Yeah, so you got all the $150,000 or approximately this amount that you invested was money that your business generated upfront. It's not money that you borrowed or was not a loan.
No.
It's money that you generated yourself.
Yes, there was a time when I lived in my friend's couch for a year because I didn't have money to pay myself. I myself always bootstrap a company because I have 3 now. I bootstrap everything because I would rather bootstrap it and make sure that the market wants it and it's needed and it's on demand instead of raising capital and next thing you know, the market doesn't want it. That's going to get me in a lot of trouble.
And the second thing you mentioned was relationships and connections and networking. Can you tell us a little bit about your team? And I know you're not the only owner. You have somebody else with you in WebGeek Studios, right? You have somebody else working as a partner. Can you tell us about the partnership in your business and your team that you work with?
Yes. So she's my friend back in the Philippines years and years ago. I saw her in San Francisco and we got reconnected. And so she became my Facebook friend after. And there was a time when I needed someone to help me with a certain language, which is PHP. So I posted on, hey, does anybody know how to read PHP or how to create PHP codes? And she said, yeah, I know how to do that. So that's when the partnership started. And it wasn't pretty. It's a marriage, Marriage are not fun all the time. We fight, we have different points of view in life and in business and different personalities. We're both strong-willed women and a lot of times when we fight, it's more what is the good of the business. We're both passionate about what we do. So relationship wise, it's not always pretty, and a lot of times you gotta just accept that that's life, and you just have to deal with the logistics. Okay, why are we fighting? Why are we not, what are we not seeing? And that's how relationships are. And same thing with clients. A lot of times we push our products and services to our clients or to our potential leads without even knowing where they are at the moment. if they say no to us, is it a hard no, or is it something that you need to nurture, something that you need to educate your clients with, because that's what relationship is about. You educate the person who you want to be in relationship with of who you are. If you don't know who you are and you're in a relationship, there's going to be a lot of chaos. Right?
Absolutely. And how about your team that works for you? I imagine it's not just you and your partner that run this whole business. How about the people that you have in your team working for you, your employees?
Yes. So when we started, we bootstrapped everything, right? So that means finding talent at the minimum cost. There's this wonderful website called Fiverr. So we outsource stuff there. And, eventually, once you start earning more money, you start building teams. So the first person that we hired, since my weakness is numbers, is a bookkeeper. So bookkeeper is very, very important because that's the person who manages your numbers. Then after bookkeeper person, we started hiring an in-house assistant to help me with a lot of things, because us entrepreneurs, we have grand big ideas. We're always starters. We start things, right? We create things, and next thing you know, we don't finish it. So our assistant makes sure that when I start something, or when my business partner Christine starts something, we finish it. So that's the second part. Now, how much do we need to, that's the reason why you keep doubling your prices. If your product and services is on demand, double your prices. It's okay to charge more, because the only reason that you're in business is to help those people. If you don't have money, you cannot help those people. And without help from your team, you can't serve those people. So back to the money thing again, right?
And based on the nature of your business, do you mostly have, you mentioned Fiverr, I use Fiverr a lot in my business too. Do you mostly work with your employees? Are they online? Is it outsourcing, or you have like, a building where you have them and they work and you meet them in person? Or is it mostly online, even your assistant and your bookkeeper?
My assistant and my bookkeeper is in-house, so they're with me. When I started, they were virtually everybody's online. I was hiring virtual assistant for my numbers. And, a lot of times it comes with practice and experience. Then you get wisdom, because don't hire a virtual assistant who doesn't know how to bookkeep. And I don't trust in yourself if you don't know how to bookkeep, and then you train that person. Well, that's just a mess. I don't have the experience. Why would I train my virtual assistant to do it? So put aside money. Make sure you invest on yourself and the talent around you. So we started off virtual. Everything's virtual. Right now we have in-house developers, in-house designers, because we can afford it. But if you cannot afford it at the moment, outsource it.
And when you say virtual, especially from Fiverr, you mean also a lot outside of the US, right? Which is often much more affordable.
Yes. So graphic designers, we hire from the Philippines when we were starting. Developers, we hire from India. Copywriting, we hire US copywriters, people who are born and use the language. English is the first language, so we use US a lot when it comes to copywriting, which is probably the most expensive asset that you could ever, ask someone to do, is copywriting.
I see. Now we're getting close to our time together. I know this is it's not a lot of time that we have, but we did manage to cover quite a few of the aspects of your business. If you'd be to sum this up and to pick, I know you mentioned a lot of factors in how you built your business. If you'd be to pick just one that had the most impact in creating all the success in your international business, which one would that be?
Perspective. So I pay a lot of money for people who does have perspective and experience. It's kind of like when I was 4 years old, I went to this country called Hong Kong. So I was with my mom and my dad and a few of my aunts. So my mom was in Hong Kong, me and my dad took a speedboat to China. So it's kind of like perspective, going to a new country when you're 4 years old and you don't know anything about it. And guess what? I got lost in China. it's a good part. I got lost for a good few hours. My dad was freaking out. My mom was freaking out because my mom was in Hong Kong. Me and my dad were in China, and they were freaking out because they lost me. It's a good thing that they put a business card of the hotel on my pocket. So the person who found me actually returned me, right? So it's the same thing with perspective. If you go to a country where you don't know anything about and you're 4 years old, how are you going to get home? How are you going to get to your goal? So perspective for me is very, very crucial, because I would pay somebody, I would, give my time and my money to somebody who does have perspective. That way I don't get lost. I would learn from their mistakes. I would learn from their failures. I would learn from their success.
And talking about that quick, I want to add this question. Other than Google and YouTube, did you have, because you just mentioned now, did you have any other mentors?
Yes,
people
I do.
That you looked up to and that helped you in your business and inspired you?
Yes, I do. I went to a speaking seminar, and the guy was selling $5,000, right? $5,000 worth of courses. And I saw in my eyes, I was like, oh my gosh, because people flocked in the back table and started buying stuff. And I was calculating in my head, I'm like, 5,000, 5,000, 5,000. Oh my gosh, that is $70,000 in 2 days. That is crazy. And I went up to him and I was like, I would love for you to teach me how you do what you do. So his name is Mel Cutler. He has a company called Success Academy. So he trained me. I bled for almost 2 years learning how to speak. And next thing you know, I was selling 18, 25,000 packages on stage. And it was crazy. So have a speaking mentor. I have a sales mentor too. Someone who teaches me how to sell over the phone. See, if you keep studying courses or read books, you won't learn anything. But if you have someone who believes in you more than you believe in yourself and constantly pushes you to the limit, then things are going to be crazy. Things are going to be different in your business.
Thank you so much for sharing this with us, Chris. And now, before we finish this, I know you have a gift for our audience. If you can just share a few words about that.
Sure. So it's christernate.com/gift. And with this gift, I'm going to give your community, Carmen's community, 30 minutes of my time. And my time is extremely valuable. So it comes on a first come, first serve basis. I allot certain part of my week for calls like this to really give back to the community. And what it is a 30-minute phone call with me. I wanted to know who you are, what do you want in life, and how to get there quick in less than 90 days. So if you wanted to double your income in 90 days, give me a call. I want to know where you're at, what you want, and what are the roadblocks in place, whether it's tech part, whether it's internal, whether it's skills. Talk to me, because this is one way that I give back to the community, because I've been there. I've bled. I slept on my friend's couch for a year just to grow my business. I wept when people would say no, and eventually learned that no is a good way to constantly improve. So if you need someone to just push you to the limits, I challenge you to go to that site that I just gave you. Let's have a conversation and let's build your business in 90 days or less.
Thank you so much, Chris. Thank you for your generous offer. I hope everyone will take advantage of it. Well, not for you. I hope not everyone, because then you're going to be with no time left. But I know you're going to work with the most motivated ones from our audience and with the people that have your attitude, that are ready to take action, because I think these are the people you are looking for too, and these are the people you want to inspire first of all. Thank you so much for our time together, and to all of my audience, I'll see you in our next episode. Have a wonderful day.
Thanks, Carmen. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a great day.
Thank you for watching Entrepreneurs Conquering the World with your host, Carmen Ring.